Hey, Nathan. Can you hear us?
I can.
Yeah. Yay. Perfect. All right. So we're just waiting on Larry.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
How are you?
Good. I actually just hightailed it back. I'm so glad that I made it in time from campus.
Oh, why? Why'd you have to go on campus?
We got another request to do a video. We've actually been doing a lot for social distancing. We still have,
Oh.
I mean, seriously, like a reduced amount of students that are left on campus, but because we essentially encompass the entire city, every weekend or like Thursday, Friday evening, somebody's still throwing a frat party. And so, they're like out in the community carrying around kegs, and everyone's like, oh, we're going to need another video telling students not to party. I'm like, they're not watching. Clearly. Yeah. So this time we opted to go with, it's kind of nice because we're getting to push the envelope a little bit, but I was like, we're going to do a really poor take on like an airline security video and just go
That's fun.
totally over the top. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out.
Cool.
So yeah, we ran in.
Send out the engineering school with tape measures.
That's
like,
right.
No, you guys have to separate.
There you go. Move over. It's just crazy. I mean, we have you try and you try and you try, and people are still gonna break the rules. Like there's not a lot you can do.
I live within walking distance of our campus, so like I've still just been using that kind of as like my walking area to get outside. But every time I'm on campus, there are students with photographers like doing their senior photos, and I get wanting to still do your senior photos. And like you can probably maintain distance, but I'm just like, could you not?
Yeah, it's really rough. We started a lot of the lockdown stuff here in Ann Arbor, right around St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
St. Patrick's Day started, or like was Tuesday or something, I think. So we had the party weekend before and after, and Larry's rebooting, so that's fine. Let me see.
I'm swapping headsets. Give me 1 second.
Oh no, you're good. How do I?
Yeah, we got kind of lucky with ours because it was like our students were on spring break like the week that everything started becoming very apparent, like that we were going to have to not have them come back and everything. So at least like the bulk of our students were already out of Athens,
right,
because of spring break the week everything went down.
See, we were all back. It was the week we all came back. Everyone was on campus for like 5 days, and then we booted them again.
Oh yeah, see ours, we were basically like, hey, you're on spring break, and unfortunately like now you don't get to come back, which I mean for the seniors was heartbreaking because like they left for spring break not knowing they weren't going to get to come back and finish their senior semester and like say goodbye to things. So
that is it's so sad.
Yeah, so no school had it easy no matter what the situation was.
Absolutely. All right, I'm sending Larry the link. Zoom's being weird. You'd think by now we'd all be pros at Zoom. Not so much. Does that go through? Maybe. Now, Nathan, have you and Jamie like met before?
Sorry, Alice.
No, you're fine. I said, have you and Jamie met before?
No. Just
No.
there.
Yeah, not
See,
not off the internet.
I love this. This is great.
Good. We have OG Twitter. 2008, 2011.
There you go. Hmm. I swear this is gonna work. We all got in, okay? I don't know why. There's always like the one person. Of course, it's the person that asked me to even pull this stuff together.
Oh,
It's okay. What's the weather like in Georgia right now, Jamie?
It's actually really nice, which is unfortunate because it makes you really want to go outdoors.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, like blue skies. I think it's like low 70s today. Like the high is like in the low 70s. So I know it's like perfect springtime weather to like want to be on campus and all of that good
Right.
stuff. I did see, do y'all have snow in Michigan right now? I feel like I saw
We
snow from some
did.
areas nearby.
Yep, indeed. Let's see. All right, we're gonna try to add him a different way. Yep, it snowed yesterday and it snowed today again. Like it literally will not stop. It totally sucks. Has it been snowing in New York, Nathan? Huh? Did we lose him?
No, I think he's trying to figure out his headset situation. It looks like.
Got it. Okay. Now how did I invite? Mhm. I just sent a new invite to Larry. Did you guys have to enter a password to get in?
That's great. Not enter.
I may have not known how to do it then either. Let's see. Oh, there's Larry. Allow to
I
talk.
did not, but it did. Oh, nice.
Promote panelist.
Do we have other viewers?
I'm at
Oh.
the. Oh my
You're
God,
you're in.
I made it.
It
Hey.
worked. Hey! I love it. Great.
Let's-
Okay.
Hi,
And
everybody.
then I have, let's see here. Cool.
Cheers if you're drinking.
Cheers. Yay. I know, right?
It's 5 o'clock all the time.
I like it. You know, although I just read there's a new article out, right? That like alcohol increases your risk factors. We're all going to be done though.
My daughter actually tested me for my drinking a couple weeks ago.
So many Zoom happy hours, guys.
She's
So
like,
many.
Daddy, you used to never drink before and you're drinking every day.
Oh
Damn.
no. Oh,
You know what?
You got called out.
Flat out. And she's a sophomore in high school. And right. So I told her, I made a commitment to her. I won't drink every day.
There you go.
So I take a couple day breaks once in a while.
I love it.
Office view and behind you.
This is what my office typically looks like. I'm not here, so I'm here in spirit in my office. Yes. Oh, nice. That's really good. You got that. What's your guys' best Zoom backgrounds? What do you got?
Well, so unfortunately, this whole thing made me realize that my Office MacBook doesn't have the proper capability for a Zoom background, so I can't have one.
Yeah, I
Hey now,
blend in
Larry.
my background,
Fun
but
fact.
I'm
Oh,
when I was
no.
in that-
barely here. So
What happens to Nathan is what happens to me. Like mine doesn't have the ability to separate, to like basically function as a green screen, literally be in front of a real green screen.
Fun fact.
Ah,
Do you know I was in that costume 93, 94?
no way.
True story.
That's crazy. You're not supposed to tell people that, are you? Isn't
Not
that like,
when you are actually, not when you actually are in costume, but
are you sworn to secrecy, right?
like, those are my kids.
Oh, that's so cute. I know that was kind of why I went back from my office. Well, everybody was picking up monitors and stuff. I actually grabbed a heater because I'm constantly cold from under my desk and took the pictures of the office so I could just put it up there. But then it was funny. We were talking about the snow earlier. Yesterday I was in a Zoom and people said, I thought it was snowing. Like it looks sunny out your window. I was like, not a real window. Yeah, it's great. You got Hill
do you
there.
actually have a green screen in the back,
Yes.
or is it just off enough that you can tell?
Yeah, no green screen. So it's been kind of nice. We've been playing with a lot of different ones. We made some that we published and shared right after everybody went home
Yeah.
for people to use online. They were pretty excited. We actually just rolled out a new suite of them for commencement. So, because it's not happening. Ooh, we got a
Are
cat.
you doing a
I like
virtual
it.
commencement? Is there going to be like a virtual commencement of some kind?
So we are not doing a virtual commencement, and that is very intentional because people would probably not like the idea of having their commencement replaced. But we are trying to still commemorate the day that would have been our students' commencements. So yeah, there's a lot of strategy and thought going into that.
And you didn't guess what shoes I'm wearing.
Uh-oh, what shoes are you wearing?
I thought you might would like do some research or something because there were
Um,
are social clues.
There's social shoe clues.
Clues like on
Hmm.
my thread, you could possibly have guessed. Is that?
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Can you see them?
So which ones
That's
are
doing
those?
the power cable.
Those are the Jordan 11 Concords, widely regarded as the GOAT of basketball shoes.
Oh, the goat shoes. I love this. Everything's like, one of my interns called me the goat boss, and I was really
There you go.
excited because that, like, you've really reached like high level status if you're a goat these days. So I took it. I was like, thank you. Never
Love it.
did I think being called a farm animal would be a compliment, but
Right.
that's okay.
And I got a haircut.
Thanks. You really dressed up today. I really appreciate that. That's nice.
It was motivating. It was getting kind of long.
So Larry, have you ever met Nathan and Jamie before?
No.
No.
I followed everybody that was on Twitter, but I wouldn't be able to pass a quiz. So
That's okay. I was gonna go ahead and tweet the link to this. So it is streaming. It's not streaming to anybody right now because it's just us here. But that way I thought at least people would know who we all are. So
right. So
Larry,
this
you want to go?
is that you saying this is going to be recorded and be careful? Is that what you're saying?
No, you're perfectly fine. We're just here to have a conversation, and then if we want to share it further, we can, but we
Okay.
absolutely don't have
Yeah,
to.
I don't plan to say anything that I would worry about. I'm just
Perfect.
checking.
Well, I'll let you go first.
So I'm Larry Lage, and I met Nikki when I was a Knight Wallace Fellow at the University of Michigan, which is a mid-career journalism sabbatical program that has 12 US journalists and a handful of international journalists. I was the only sports journalist. There's always one, but not more than one. And you take whatever classes you want at U of M, no credit, no grade. You travel the world, work on a study plan. I was going to write a book, but during my interview, when I was practicing with John Bacon, who's also a former fellow, an Ann Arbor guy, an author, Michigan grad of some kind, I was practicing with him in my interview because I knew the first question was, "What's your dream?" And at that time, my dream was to write a book. I'd never written a book, never had time. So I delivered my talk in sign language because my mom and dad are deaf. And so
Wow.
English and ASL at the same time. And the 9 people at the table were like,
That's
And-
amazing.
fast forward 10 minutes later, the director, Charles Eisendras, said, "You ever think about putting this all together?"
Yeah.
I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "There just can't be anybody with your background in sign language, deaf culture, media, with your personality. There's got to be something there." I said, "I never thought about it." He goes, "You should." And I said, "Put me on this fellowship. I'll come up with something." I actually later told that to President Slissel, and he said,
Wow.
"Well played," which was, if you're ever at a Michigan football game and you look at the anthem, there's somebody signing the anthem up there. I got that done during my fellowship with Jim Hackett, who's the Ford CEO, who was the AD,
Mhm.
blah, blah. I live in Ann Arbor. Wife's a special ed teacher in Saline, which is just south of Ann Arbor. I have 2 kids. My daughter, Elle, is a dancer, 4.0 rule follower. And then I have my son, he's joy and pain, Leighton Giovanni, all sports, also baritone sax, 4.0. Joy and pain is his nickname. I live in Ann Arbor, and I'm going to stop talking.
That's perfect. Awesome, Larry. Jamie, you want to go next?
Yes. So I'm Jamie. I'm a social media coordinator at the University of Georgia. We're in Athens. It's about 90 miles from Atlanta. So I know Nikki through kind of the higher ed social media circles. We met at a conference a couple years ago. I don't remember. Social Media Strategy Summit up in New York. So yeah, I help represent kind of the flagship social accounts for UGA. We're the flagship institute for the state. So you know, it's really exciting. I went to UGA, so, you know, I don't know that I would work in higher ed social specifically if I wasn't working for my alma mater. But yeah, just feel really fortunate to get to do what I do every day. It's actually funny. Today is my 2-year anniversary in my current role. And then, but I've been at UGA for almost 6 years come July. And if you go back in my tweets from 2013, there's a tweet, it was the day of commencement. This was the year before I started working there. And I had tweeted something like, "How do you get the job of live tweeting graduation from UGA? Like that seems," and it's like, oh, now like I have that job. So
You really made it, Jamie.
yeah, I was like, wow, I did that thing. Because at the time, I mean, I don't even know if in 2013, like UGA was on Twitter yet. They were on some social media.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like come full circle.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nathan, you're up.
So I know Nikki from Facebook, basically, which is, of course, very
Don't tell
Indeed,
people I'm
the last bit.
there. I trash
Yeah.
them so much. No.
secret safe with me. And the 5 viewers we have. Let's see here. What do I do? I started off my professional life as a corporate and securities attorney, actually up here in New York in the immediate.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Nathan. Anybody
Oh,
else?
sorry. Let me see here.
This any better?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Excellent.
better.
So I started off my professional career as a corporate and securities attorney in the immediate post.com years in New York. So it was tough going. You couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting an attorney looking for work. spent a few years doing that, moved into strictly media relations for half a dozen years or so, primarily for like law firms and professional service firms. And then went and did only digital and social at an agency, also primarily B2B services for, call it 7 years, give or take. And for the last 2.5 years or so, I've been independent, working on a full range of companies from, supermarket content production and content marketing to a small jewelry spinoff from a wholesaler who's now doing retail for the first time. I also have been teaching at NYU in their master's program, so basically social media for PR professionals for the last 5 or so years. And that's where we are now. And right now I'm in my bedroom. So
perfect. And so how long has everybody been officially in self-isolation?
What was that that Friday that people were still out, like a month ago or so?
Yeah, maybe.
13th, probably.
March
Yeah.
13th.
It would have been the Friday of the NCAA tournament. I'm gonna say that's where my clock is in my head. That could have been almost, I think, 5 weeks ago tomorrow.
Yeah, that's basically where I
Wow.
the
I mean, that
last activity I did was Friday the 13th, ominously enough.
Mhm.
Ooh.
I would say that was my last normal night. Like, went to Black Pearl in Ann Arbor, had fish tacos, the greatest.
Nice.
Had drinks at La Dolce Vita under Chop House, then went to a friend's house. It was a big night. I guess that's why I went big. Apparently, I knew
Good for you. You went out in
that was
style.
gonna be it. Hold on before we go on to anything else, Nikki.
Yeah.
For people who don't know you, who are you?
Yes.
Really,
I have a
and are those
tendency
really
to
all
do
your
this.
kids?
They are indeed. I got the lineup.
Six.
Six indeed.
So sign 6. Put these fingers together. That's 6 in sign language.
These
6.
two here.
6.
See, we're
children.
gonna learn all kinds of things today, Larry. I love it.
Children.
I'm Nikki Sundstrom. I am the Director of Social Media and Public Engagement at the University of Michigan, a role I've held now for 6 years. I tweet probably too much. I complain about online accountability and digital citizenship and privacy concerns all the time. I have 6 kids. I have road tripped all 48 continental United States with them. That's me in a nutshell.
What's missing? What's those 2 states?
Oh, Hawaii and Alaska.
Oh wow.
You can do Alaska.
Yeah, I know we can. I actually just joked to my husband that because our spring break was canceled, I had a speaking engagement in New Orleans in June that's now canceled. So we have all this time, we can just compile it together and make the haul to Alaska, right? Instead of, taking 1 week of spring break, we'll take 2 weeks and drive to the far north. I don't know. He thinks it's a good idea. I don't know if we can make it.
I have an idea, guy. Nikki, you ready?
Uh-oh.
No, this is good.
Let's hear it.
But you said, uh-oh, like you were worried.
I don't know.
I want to get you and your family to Hawaii. I think you could arrange for some professional opportunities that would pay you and maybe
I like it.
do a place to stay.
I'm on board. Sign me up.
5%.
That's right. You arrange it. I'll give you a cut. We're good to go.
I want a fun fact from everyone.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I just gave mine. I'm
Yeah.
out.
That was part of your usual spiel. Your goal.
Gotta le-
All right,
gotta
I was an
learn
ice
new
cream. I was an ice cream truck driver one summer.
Wow, that's a good one.
Oh,
Like in an old US mail truck with 4 songs.
Ooh.
I was a telemarketer for a septic product. Also, for a
Really?
summer. Yeah.
Yes.
I called up
What?
people at 9 o'clock in the morning and asked to talk to, and this was places that had septic systems. They were out in the boonies, and asked to talk to whoever was on the call sheet. And they were like, "Do you want Big John or Little John?" Because of course. And they're like, "All right, well, he's on the tractor. Let me go get him." And I'd wait on hold for 10 minutes, and he'd come back and then talk about a septic system for 5 or 6 minutes, happily. So yeah, that was an odd experience. By the way, only 64 hours from Ann Arbor to Anchorage.
Really?
Totally
Already
doable,
Googled
yeah.
it. I love it. That's fantastic. We drove all the way to the West Coast last
Do it with
August.
a cruise. Do it with a cruise.
With a I got to times that by 8.
I know, but there's some. There'll be some social media things. I don't know about the ethical trade restrictions about you leveraging your professional skills.
Sure. Do some live tweeting. All right, my
Versus-
fun fact. Back when I was working under the Michigan Economic Development Corporation in my former life in government, I actually drove on the track at MIS for like NASCAR with the car we were going to give away. So there's a fun fact.
Nice.
Yes, I know.
You know how
Right?
fast you went?
No, maybe
Like
no.
180.
Did I
My,
lose everybody?
no, can you hear me?
Mhm.
I can hear everybody.
Hello.
Nikki just froze.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think just Nikki
Come
froze.
back.
We can hear you. we
Nikki
just can't-
frozen. At least it was a,
Yeah. Looks like she's about to spin a record.
yeah.
It's like,
He's on the ones
this
and
is that's like
twos.
the video. That's the visual that you tweet out. That's like, turn this into like caption contest.
Can I have your
This moment.
permission to take a picture? Nikki can't respond. Everybody nod.
Yes, we all heard you ask.
Mhm.
So you
Alright.
can just,
I'm gonna send it to Nikki and then, oh, there you go. Oh, there's your picture. Her stock picture.
Oh no. There we
Hello. Zoom booted me for a second. Sorry, guys.
yeah, it was funny because like we could still sort of hear you at one point and then just your,
And
Like-
then I was gone.
Yeah.
What's your
Uh,
fun fact, Jamie?
so I help co-moderate a young adult book club here in Athens through Avid Bookshop. Avid is our local
Nice.
independent store. It's called YA for Not So YAs because everyone that's in it, myself included, like we are not by definition young adults, and so but we read young adult fiction. So
I love it.
That's awesome. It's
Yeah.
some of the best books, though. Let's be honest.
yeah,
Like,
Uh-huh.
I was a total Harry Potter buff. So here's a fun fact that I already gave one, but all of my children, their names are somehow rooted in Greek mythology because I was obsessed with Harry Potter. Like, and also I studied a lot of Greek mythology, but
I
still,
like
like, I know, right? So my oldest daughter's name is Phoenix, and when the Order of the Phoenix came out, we took her to a book party, like to the release parties when those were a big deal, and everyone was just like absolutely in awe, right? They're like, "Oh, it's a phoenix!" It was super cute.
I actually have a pretty good story about my kids' names. So my
Yeah.
daughter is Elle Sophia, L as ELLE. I was, I think I was a Michigan State graduate, 95 or so, one summer afternoon. I said, when I have a daughter, her name is going to be Elle. The only Elle anyone knew was Elle Macpherson. This is before Elle from Legally Blonde, Elle Magazine or whatever. And then my wife said, what do you think about the name Sophia? That's my mom's name. I'm like, I love it. I go, what do you think about Elle Sophia? She's like, bam. So Elle Sophia Lage. There's ring to it. Elle is not uncommon now. You do hear some more L's, but like when we were growing up or I was growing up,
Right.
not. So then my son is Leighton Giovanni. And because I like alliteration and how LL sounds, I wanted a boy's name with an L. And my sister-in-law came up with the name Leighton from the tennis player Leighton Hewitt. His name was Giovanni. My grandpa came to America on a boat from Italy, made money, sent back for my grandma and my mom and her brother, who came to America when they were 3, both deaf. Both my parents are deaf. So Giovanni that's my grandpa. So
That's very cool.
names with cool stories, but not Greek mythology. Close, Italian, middle name.
It's true. It's like the same thing. So, Nathan, how far are you in the city? Are you outside
Mhm.
New York? You're
I'm in the city. I'm a little bit west of Times Square, just about 2 blocks, which is half a mile, maybe. No, wait. Yeah, a few blocks.
What would you say the
Light.
neighborhood is called? Like, what's the neighborhood? What would they?
Oh, it's in Hell's Kitchen.
Okay, there you go. I love the names.
Yeah, you can
And-
actually pinpoint things from Daredevil and the entire Netflix Marvel series in the neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
they
awesome.
name check some of the local bars properly. It's kind of fun to look for the little real Easter eggs.
I love that.
So what's it like there right now?
It's quiet.
Yeah.
But it's not. I started a pseudo podcast. I just record out my window for an hour a day and I publish it, and I hope to see how it changes as we get back to normal.
Yeah.
But you still hear a lot of stuff going on, but it's mainly people walking by. There's a restaurant across the street, so they have delivery going at all hours. The supers still have to come in and take their trash out, and ambulances go by occasionally. So, it's quiet in comparison. If you compare it to the burbs, I'm sure it's not quiet at all. A few days ago, we had someone standing outside next door shouting to their friends who were 2 or 3 stories up. So it sounded like they weren't at all socially distancing, but in fact, the 2 people on the street were like 10 feet apart, and their friend was, of course, up in their apartment. So noisy, but not the same type of traffic and constant conversation.
Wow.
I went through Times Square last week at one point to go do an essential task. And that was weird because the only people in Times Square were police, making sure that nobody was hanging around, and a news crew. It was a camera guy and an anchor just filming, and that was it.
Now, are all the ads and stuff, like all the lights and the electricity and everything, still running, being used? And everything?
It was noon, so I didn't really look for it specifically, but I did see a lot of them were very much of the, in what we're going through now, the stores are closed kind of thing, like, or stay safe, like they were appropriately messaged. So a lot of them were still on. I don't know if it's even worthwhile to turn them off in the long run and not just put up a good CSR message. But there's a lot of that kind of activity, but pretty empty.
I had a speaking engagement in January in New York, and actually took my 15-year-old daughter as an early birthday gift. And I'm so glad that we did. We just spent the day in the city because she's going to be 16 next week and now has to celebrate in quarantine. And so it's crazy to me how quickly life has come to a halt and like completely changed forever.
Yeah, no, it's weird. I know I've seen a bunch of 8th grade and high school senior class trips that were supposed to be in New York and DC. They're just like, it's just not happening. Like, there's no way.
Yeah. I know, it definitely makes me feel good about money I spent on experience related things in 2019. I'm like, I don't regret that at all anymore. And then I think that will be more of the mindset moving forward, is like, yes, you should just, if you can, don't let yourself feel as guilty about, spending money to go see a show or on Broadway or something like that.
Well, I'm intrigued. What'd you do in 2019, Jamie?
Also,
Tell me more.
Yeah, so Broadway is my example. I had seen shows before locally, like we have the Fox Theater in Atlanta, and then the theater here in Athens gets sort of like, the 3rd tier round of shows. Like once they've toured nationally in major cities, then they tour around smaller cities. But 2019 was like my first year where I ever went to actual shows on Broadway. So when I was there in May, I went and saw, if you've at all looked at my Twitter, you've probably seen tweets about Adam Driver. I'm a big Adam Driver fan. So I went to New York with a friend in May to see Adam Driver and Carrie Russell in a play called Burn This at Hudson Theater. And so I saw that. And then I also saw Waitress, the musical, while I was there on that trip. And then when I was back in the city in October for a conference again, I saw, what did I see? Oh, I saw Oklahoma, the most recent sort of revival of Oklahoma that won a bunch of Tonys last summer. And then I also saw the Moulin Rouge musical as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, if I'm already going to be in New York for something, like, let me just spend all of my extra money, I'm going to see shows.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I had one of those decisions to make, and I was so glad I did in hindsight, actually at the time and in hindsight. A friend of mine, Jamela Hill, who you may know, she got married, invited us, but my wife couldn't go. And I was like, I can go, but I felt guilty. Should I go? You know, she kind of gave me the green, yellow light, definitely not a red light. And I went in part because like I've lost friends, you know, and I thought like, I don't want to miss anything, especially if I'm not explicit. It wasn't like I was missing my daughter's dance recital or my son's big game. I really didn't miss like any event or thing. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go, and I'm so glad. And I spent so much time on Newport Beach, just looking in the ocean. There were some of the biggest college football games going on of the year, and I didn't watch like a snap. And my friends were like, "You don't care about the game?" I'm like, "No, like there were more football games now, maybe not, but like I can get this ocean in Ann Arbor. I'm just gonna sit right here and look at this ocean." I have a question for the panel.
All right.
Have you seen Tiger King and or Ozark?
I've not seen either.
I haven't seen either of them.
Okay, so
Nope.
I've seen Tiger King.
We just bombed that question.
Oh,
by the way.
We're gonna
No,
get
it's okay though. I mean, but like, okay, there's like 30 episodes out there of Ozark. I just started watching it with my wife. We're on like episode 8. It's really intense and really good. Tiger King is the craziest thing you've ever seen, and it's real, and it is an excellent diversion to reality. So if you want to take your mind away of something, watch that. That's my recommendation. Ozark though is like really well done and super intense. Like I'm not a huge TV guy, but I've become a little bit more of one. I've become a daily morning walker. If you follow me on Instagram on my stories, I have a picture on the street right behind my house because it has like the sunrise. I'm out about 7 a.m. I walk about 6 miles. That's like my new thing. That'll be my good thing that I take out of this.
It will be. Yeah. Walking definitely, and trying to get out. The road that we live on, it's a dirt road, but unfortunately you're on the west side of Ann Arbor. Because I grew up in rural West Michigan. So when we picked our home, we were like, oh, it'll be quiet. There's more farm fields and it'll be a lot more like home for us. And it's like a major thoroughway. People do 55 down our dirt road. I don't understand it at all. But it's really quiet right now because everybody's supposed to be at home. So we've been able to do some walking, which is nice. But we haven't binged too many shows. Jamie, Nathan, have you guys binged anything?
I've been slowly making my way through all of the Clone Wars. It's a Star Wars animated series on Disney Plus. So I've watched like 4 seasons so far. There's like 6.5. The 7th final season's airing right now. So I feel like I'll basically end up catching up in time with like when it finishes airing at the rate I'm going now.
Perfect.
Nothing here. I mean, in spite of, you know, the independent client slowing down, transitioning like my classes to online and dealing with the capstone, the dissertation students, rather than a quick half hour in person before my normal class,
Right.
you know, has taken up time. My wife's actually a bookkeeper / external CFO for clients, and between their normal, what can we do with payroll, and their normal needs, plus all of the, can we apply for the PPP loans, what works, what doesn't work, how do we do this? She's actually been busier than ever. Plus, up until 2 weeks ago, everyone thought they were going to file taxes. So,
Right.
you know, she's actually been working during the day most of the time. So it's you know, our usual. I didn't watch Buffy or Angel when it was out, so we've started doing that in the evenings a few months back. But you know, just the usual pace of stuff. What did we just finish? We just finished Hunters, which was fun, not really realistic, but you know, still a little enjoyable. Ozark's been on our list, but haven't pulled the trigger yet, so it's there.
I would do it. Like the first couple episodes, my heart was in my throat.
Really?
Intense. Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for intense experience, for me at least, my wife says it's maybe because I don't watch as many shows, but I'm not a hard TV person.
Yeah, we don't lean into that quite so much, usually because it's 50-50 that we're going to watch it right before bed, and we're like, maybe we don't need something this heavy right before bed. Right. We have been catching up on The Expanse though, which is nice. sci-fi it's on Amazon Prime now. So
Yeah, I don't know that.
See, with those types of shows for us, I'd have to like wait until everybody else went to bed.
Right.
And then my
Right.
husband and I would have to stay up, and then we still have to get up in the morning. It's like, it's so complicated. Like everybody was recommending Yellowstone to us. And I tried watching like one episode. It got a little scandalous, and I was like, we'll record it and wait until we have time. And then we never had time, so we just deleted it.
How old is your youngest?
My youngest is 3.
Wow.
Yeah. So from 3 to 17.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been really interesting. After Michigan canceled schools officially 2 weeks ago now for the remainder of the school year, I now have 3 high schoolers for the fall, which will be interesting. So my oldest 3 girls, I'll have a freshman, a junior, and a senior. So and they're all trying to do online school. They're pretty self-sufficient, which is nice. It's the 8-year-old, the 5-year-old, and the 3-year-old, which I experienced my first 3-year-old preschool Zoom call yesterday. And
Oh, wow.
it was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah,
I was like,
really cute. I don't know. I just feel like it would be really cute watching a bunch of.
it was super cute, but we did it on the iPad. And so at first she had like the iPad sitting in front of her, and she was kind of playing with Play-Doh. So it was a little tactile thing she had going on there, and they were talking. But then she got like the really good idea that if she got up on the bed behind her and like jumped off in front of everyone, the class could see her. And then it spiraled very quickly. Let's be honest, they're 3. So
Oh my gosh.
how are your online classes going, Nathan? I'm intrigued by this. I know our interns are just wrapping up classes. It's stressful, right?
Yeah, it's a little weird. I'm also very discussion based. I almost never teach off of a deck. And so, it's social media. So like I could put something in a deck this semester, and next semester it's useless. Twitter changed on me mid-semester. DMs became 10,000 characters all of a sudden out of nowhere. TikTok became a thing. Like I don't bother with the slides usually because it's going to change. And so now it's just me doing this for 2.5 hours twice a week on the same day. And trying to like pull up a viral video or what was a viral video or, whatever it happens to be. And it kind of feels like I'm doing stand-up to no audience because they're all on mute, which I appreciate because otherwise I've got fans going in the background. Like, so even like the occasional giggle at some kind of social media fail doesn't come through. So it's just like talking, unless I actually say, no, you should answer now. They're not going in and unmuting themselves and providing a real answer, which I totally understand. NYU's also got a huge international community. So about half of them are not in the States, much less in my time zone. They're 12 hours off, which I imagine is rough on them trying to do like swing shift hours for school of all things.
Yeah. Now, are you doing your classes? I know some of our professors kind of went back and forth on like whether they were just going to record their classes to then make available, regardless of a student's schedule, or are you streaming them like, okay, class starts at 10 a.m. Eastern time. That's when it starts.
Yeah, that's kind of been the university position of you should stream them, but given that some people, depending on where they're going, may even have like dial-up at home, you should record your sessions and make them available offline. Thankfully, none of my students have said, there's no way I can swallow up that kind of bandwidth for 2.5 hours on dial-up. But but they also have a final project where they work with mentors who actually do social media in-house, and they're going to give their final presentations on Zoom. So that'll be interesting.
That's one of the things that we've been, nope, I'm getting told my internet is unstable. I'm that student in your class right now. Oddly enough, I live 20 minutes outside of Ann Arbor and we don't have broadband. Go figure.
You're on dial-up right now?
No, I'm on a hotspot. It's terrible. It's absolutely awful. Really showing and telling, like with students and stuff, how difficult it is to have equality within that space. Like it's rough. It's super rough. So what are you guys hearing in your states right now about reopening? I'm intrigued.
I
Oh,
don't know.
I don't think anybody knows.
I know. I mean, I think living in particular, I mean, you know, those of you in Ann Arbor get it too and everything, but like, I'm just thinking ahead to like what the impact on a city like Athens will be if we wind up not having in-person classes in the fall, which would also mean, you know, no football season in the fall. And I mean, a college town pretty much survives, you know, for a lot of us, like the money that comes in during football season basically bankrolls most of the hospitality industry for the rest of the year. So I don't know. I'm trying not to think too much about college football season.
Yeah, I mean, think about how far we have to come, Nikki, for 110,000 people to be hip to hip, elbow to elbow at Michigan Stadium.
Oh, trust me, I am.
Yeah, like it's
On my daily morning crisis calls. Yep, it's a hot topic.
I bet. Fun fact, I have a Georgia, University of Michigan connection. Sean Kenny is the Georgia baseball team pitching coach. He left University of Michigan to go to Georgia, and I grew up with him in Ann Arbor.
nice.
That's crazy.
Last fall, he came back for a football game, so, and he loves Athens.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm biased because, you know, but I liked it enough to go to school here and then just decide not to leave. So
Were
Yeah,
you
I'm not
originally
real
from
objective.
Georgia, Jamie?
yeah, so I'm from Cobb County. It's in the kind of metro Atlanta area. It's about 45 minutes outside of Atlanta to the other side that Athens is on. But weirdly enough, though, I don't know if it's just Georgia or if it was like me, but despite UGA only being, you know, like 2.5 hours from my parents' house, I just didn't really know anyone in my immediate friend group or definitely in my family that had gone here. So I didn't even tour UGA. I just was like, oh, we have the Hope Scholarship. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that. But you get, if you're an in-state student, you at the time, it covered all of your tuition if you maintained a 3.0 GPA at the time. Some of the standards have changed, but you know, I mean, it was the flagship institute of the state. It was a large kind of like traditional college with a big sports program, small college town vibe, all of the things I was looking for. And so I like sight unseen applied. And then, you know, when I got in, it was like, well, of course, this is where I'll go. And so sight unseen, I mailed my deposit check in and just called it a day. So the first time I ever set foot on campus was at orientation.
Really?
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
I always tell people though, I'm like, don't do what I did. Like go on college tours.
It worked out well for you.
Yeah, it worked out great. So it's fine. But I'm like, in hindsight, someone in my life should have been like, let's like go tour some colleges.
Let's maybe just think twice. No?
Yeah.
Now, Nathan, have you always been in New York?
No, I'll be hitting 20 years come September. Before that, I was in Florida for 15 years and born in Kentucky and stayed there till I was about 10.
Wow.
So, very East Coast, but a lot of different in that.
Yeah,
range.
Florida to New York that's
Where
a
in Florida?
transition.
West Palm, Tri-County area, West Palm Beach, Broward County area. Broward. I went to Nova Southeastern in Florida for college and law school, and in Palm Beach for high school and middle school. So
'Cause
yeah.
Florida, like a lot of states, including Michigan, like saying you're from a state doesn't necessarily say that much in terms of like, oh, I know how, you know, because like there's a lot of different Floridas.
Yeah, there's a lot of Floridas. No, sixth
There's a
borough
lot of
Florida for me.
different,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was South Florida, the retiree capital of the world.
Yeah.
You know, going 40 miles with their left-hand turn signal on, type environment. But yeah.
I was laughing yesterday. I was doing a call, and a lot of those early cell phone maps when Florida was still getting a lot of scrutiny about having spring breaks, right? Like you
Right.
could just watch everyone go directly from Florida back to Michigan. I was
Yep.
like, thanks, guys. This is great. Because we were about to make that same trip. Like, and then we got put in quarantine. So yeah, it was very crazy.
I mean, think about the dynamic. It's kind of scary, but of all the college students going on spring break all over, then going back to college and then going back home.
Right.
Yep.
It's a lot of movement.
We got scrutiny online for that. I mean, I think a lot of places did because we had that early spring break. So the students all returned to campus, and then we had to very quickly make a decision to, you know, ask them to disperse and do remote or virtual learning. And it was kind of crazy. I mean, there's no better way to explain it.
Are there international students like still in the dorm because they can't go home? Like what happens to them, or how's that?
So yeah, for the most part, I think a lot of them did return home finally. I know there was an elongated timeline with some of their returns. I mean, they couldn't just hop in a vehicle, but in the same token, you know, some of our out-of-state students, it took them a little bit longer, obviously, because they couldn't just have their parents swoop in and pick them up. Yeah, I'm sure with all the schools, they had similar kind of issues.
Yeah, we were in an odd boat in that our students were on spring break the week that sort of everything got serious. So actually, on the one hand, while it at least saved us from having, you know, tens of thousands of students all travel somewhere and then come back to Athens, it left our students having left Athens thinking they were going to get to come back and finish the semester. And then we were like, hey, actually just stay home when spring break ends. Like you're not actually allowed to come back onto campus after this, which really hit the seniors really hard. But we did also, similar to Michigan, have a small contingency of students who were able to request to stay on campus. I don't know what that number looks like now. But yeah, it was like, if you have an extenuating circumstance, we're going to move you all sort of into one wing of one specific dorm, but you know, we're not going to kick you out or anything.
Yeah, we had similar. They announced the request to leave campus the Tuesday, I want to say, of spring break. And it was kind of a, you know, as soon as possible, but no later than 48 hours. Which is
up real fast. Yeah.
Right. And they, like, the email was very, very specific. Like, we'll put boxes in the hallways, take whatever you need, label them, we'll get them out, work with your roommate if they stayed local. Everybody who couldn't move could apply for a special dispensation and got moved into a certain dorm on certain floors, and everybody got a single. This is all in prep for making the dorms available either as temporary hospital rooms
That's
or
right.
first responder facilities.
I remember seeing those articles. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then everything went online that could go online.
Yeah,
So Larry,
same.
being in Ann Arbor, like, what does it feel like seeing campus empty?
It's very weird. And I actually have one of my best friends, he's a super early riser. And we meet sometimes at 6 a.m. At Slauson Middle School, where I went to school, which is near downtown. We meet at Slauson. One gets the sidewalk, one gets the street, and we walk from Slauson to the and back,
Oh,
and
wow.
through campus on the way back, and is eerie for sure. You know, there are some businesses that are trying to stay open, and we're trying to do takeout once a week or so to support them, and I'm trying to support them with my social. Especially the owners that I know that are like locally owned, and like Knights. I'm sure you've been to Knights. And you know, it's, you know, also like 5 weeks ago tomorrow morning, I started a freelance sports media fundraiser on Facebook, and on Facebook we've raised like $21,000, and off of it I've raised like 5,000 or 6,000, and I've given financial gifts to 100 freelance sports media people from New York to LA, and I probably didn't know 90 of them a month ago. So
That's amazing.
thing.
Nice.
Maybe I buried the lead, but that's like, it's been amazing. Like,
Yeah,
but
that's
tonight,
awesome. I think that is one of the coolest things that we're seeing out of this, right? And it always is. I think in hard times, like, people giving of their time or efforts or talents in order to improve, you know, the best that they can. I know I had to, 6 kids, right? So we've gone through like as many as 20 gallons of milk a week since quarantine. It's a little insane, both through drinking and like also cooking with it. But I went to the store yesterday And it was just sad. I also think like the track that was playing in the grocery store was also kind of depressing. I'm like, you need to make it a little more upbeat or something, because everybody's just walking around in face masks, like not making eye contact, trying to divert around each other. And I was like, we cannot sustain this. Like, it hurt my heart when I left, because people, they looked defeated, and that's really difficult to see. Like, I'm hoping we can get that rebound energy real fast.
I have found painfully clear that how much I thrive off of energy, off of people. I like to think I give a lot and I a lot, and you know, it's not the same on Zoom or on FaceTime or on the phone, but it's better than not. And I've been doing all kinds of Zooms, both for work and for personal use, and also adding in this card website called trickstercards.com. Like, you could play euchre.
Oh, really?
Who plays euchre? You guys play euchre?
The Michiganders.
It's a Michigan thing, yeah.
All right. So Nikki, we'll talk offline about
All
that.
right, I like it.
You have Zoom going on, and then you have this trickster.com. So you have two windows, and you have this, not automated, but computerized game, and you're talking on the over here. It's sweet.
Huh.
So like, you have to be creative, right? I mean, doing things like that. We played like a Words with Friends game last night online and with Zoom. So you could like see each other and play that. And I had never played before. That's kind of a fun game.
What's the equivalent in other states of like euchre? Like, do you guys have your own like weird card games?
I don't think so. I've had close friends from Michigan and they talk about it, but I don't know of any other place that has like their own card game. Like, it's kind of isolated.
Yeah, I don't know, like card games aren't big among kind of like my friend group or anything. I don't know. I mean, I definitely still have some friends that are still getting together to do sort of virtual like board game nights and things like that. I know for me, it's been probably one of the businesses I've been most impressed with has been my yoga studio, which is just, like a small local yoga studio, but they sort of immediately were like, how can we innovate and like, what can we do to kind of keep the community centered and everything? So they first just started recording an online library of classes that you could just do at your own time or whatever. But then they very quickly got the equipment together and pulled together live stream classes. And so those happen over Zoom. The teacher, you get a link like an hour beforehand, and it's nice to just like see and hear the same familiar faces. So like, there's a class I would always do Tuesday at 6, and it still gets taught now Tuesdays at 6. And just that level of like, oh, it's still the same. Like the normalcy is really comforting for me.
I have the same experience. I work out at Orange Theory, and my workout buddies, we get together with Orange Theory, which has Zoom workouts, but sometimes we do it just ourselves. Doing that sound really crazy, but like I did this today. It's a 5-minute challenge. You do 10 push-ups, then 10 jump squats and squat jacks, like basically, and then see how many like of those rounds you can do. Oh my gosh, in 5 minutes. It's been like, but it's good to like do it with someone else too. And this other one is a 100 rep challenge, 25 squats, 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups, 25 burpees. Take a break, do that 4 times.
I'm tired just thinking about it.
Takes about 20 minutes.
Whenever anybody, my staff they're all pretty well into fitness activities. I'm like, I chase my kids. That's about good for me. So I'm like, run an extra lap or do an extra rep for me. And they just laugh at me. Well, I know we got started late. I said no time limit, but I figured an hour was probably good and what everybody could commit to. This was cool. I really liked meeting Nathan finally, like in person after years on social. And Larry, we haven't got to see each other in years, so this was kind of fun. But thank you. It's kind of those crazy things that everybody's trying right now, right? Why not?
Yeah. If you don't put in the order, you won't get served.
I love it. All right. Well, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will all circle back on Twitter, I'm sure.
Yes.
Definitely.
All
Nikki,
right.
All right.
See
Nikki,
you
you got
guys.
2 more minutes or you got to run?
No, I
I'm-
can stay
I'm
on
good.
for a second.
All right, let me show you. I can show you guys all this, even if you don't.
Yeah.
See you, Jamie.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna run to go get actually ready
Okay,
for
go,
11.
Jamie. Nice to
You
meet you.
guys,
Bye.
see ya.
Let me show you this because it's.
Are we gonna get the Larryisms?
What's that?
Is it the deck? Is it your deck of wisdom?
No. This is
Oh.
the card. This is the card thing.
Ah, got it.
They have more than just euchre.
If you're into it, by the way, on Steam, the gaming platform, they have Risk, they have Settlers of Catan, do all kinds of stuff.
Huh.
So
And with Risk, it's great because you skip all of that dice rolling round after round after round of
I
dice.
saw Chris Barrows was going to do I see you dropped it in a chat. He's really into board games, and I think he was going to do a live stream with somebody and like do board game reviews, which I thought was
Yeah.
kind of interesting right now because a lot of people need like these crazy things to do.
Yeah.
Hey, Nikki, what's your email or an email for this card thing? I'm going to send it to you. And Nathan, you too, even if you don't know how to
Here,
play.
I'll drop it. I'll drop it right here.
All right. Nathan, can you drop your email? In
Yep.
the chat?
Okay. We're all gonna end up playing card games. We'll have to teach Nathan how to play euchre.
Oh boy.
You'll be a
I would-
real Michigander. It'll be great. I can't even recall. I was probably in college when I learned that was a Michigan thing.
Mhm.
Like I didn't
You
know
mentioned rural West. Where
Yeah.
you go to high school?
who me.
Yeah.
Oh, I did my undergrad at Grand Valley and my grad school at Aquinas.
No, but what about high school? Didn't you say?
Oh, in high school. It's a little town in between Lansing and Grand Rapids. I went to Lakewood.
Lakewood? Yeah. Lakewood, Odessa.
That's right. Lake Odessa. Yeah.
My Lansing State Journal is my old job. So
Ah, there you go. Yep. You know,
I can go Pewamo, Westphalia on you, Bath,
he knows all the things.
Leslie.
All right. Well, I'm going to check out this card game thing then, Larry.
Yeah, well here, I check your email.
All right. We'll do.
I mean, we literally, if you got 30 seconds, you could see it right now and I could show you, but if you don't, that's fine.
Can you screen share? Did I open it up?
If I sent your email, you have to like click on it.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'll look real
And-
quick.
Yep,
And
just got
then,
it.
and then you squeeze your Zoom on one side.
Mm-hmm.
You have like a rail, kind of like minimize it.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have the cards. It doesn't have you in yet. Are you in?
Join. I got to click join. Ooh, beginner advanced. I don't know.
Beginner. I don't think it matters. I don't know why. Okay, he's in. Nathan, you see it?
I'm about to be in terms of use.
Hey, that's very cool.
Oh,
So MB is in. All right. So
Look at that.
right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
very cool.
And you said they have more games than even just you
Yeah.
guys?
So on your email link, you'll see. But
Yeah.
like, you see how it's up to you. They're asking if you want a spade.
Yep.
You click
That's
on
awesome.
pass or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So cool. And
That
it's-
is really cool.
you're the 210th Nikki.
That's
MB 28. I'm LL 29.
well, there you go.
And Kelsey is a computer.
Oh, okay. So they'll just fill in the last person.
Yeah, you can play by yourself. You could play.
This doesn't violate any online game like gaming or gambling things, right?
I don't think so. You're not gonna get fired.
Okay.
You can always arrange it if you're on Zoom at the same time.
Hey, yeah, and we're recording, right? Are we still recording?
Yeah, it's cool. I don't know that there's any way there. Eric Strauss popped in and asked you one question, but you know,
Oh, that's funny.
I
tried
love
to get
it.
him to join us.
next time.
I have I bought his. So do you know Dr. Jen Ashton on ABC, who Eric works with now? Have you seen her? Maybe on Eric's social, whatever.
Yeah.
You ever watch like ABC, like Good Morning America or 2020. Like she's the like doctor, medical expert who obviously
Okay.
man quite a bit. Like Erica's her producer.
Oh, wow. That's great.
He wrote a book that has 12-month-long kind of self-care challenges,
Mhm.
like not drinking or
Sure.
meet more plants or sleep or meditation or
Mhm.
laughter or cardio. It's really cool. I actually got it. Started strong, but then pandemic hit and I kind of
Right.
let excuses happen. So, but it's cool.
I'll expect a full book review.
What'd you say?
I'll expect a book review.
Right? Exactly.
Right?
No, it's good. Just get it. Or at least follow her on social media. She's a rock star.
Ooh, I will definitely check her out.
Yeah.
All right. I hear my pizza has arrived. I sent the husband for pizza.
Where'd you get it from? You live in Dexter?
Local.
You're not-
There's a place here in Dexter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yes.
Not Thompson's from Chelsea is pretty good.
Delicious. Highly recommend. Yes, indeed. Perfect. Nathan, thank you so much for your time tonight. And Larry, it was
My
good
pleasure.
to see you too. All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.